Hey everyone, this is Cresso, and this is part 82 of the Human Journal, Galactic Gathering. In this journal, I'm going to talk about a 3-hour video that I saw of Dr. Stephen Greer. Title, I provided the information below. It's called Cosmic False Flags. And just to give you a summary and about the video and what got me inspired to do this part 82 on this. All right, some of the things he was talking about, some information that he's expressed, and I've heard it before, that anybody, maybe for those that's not really familiar with, but there's a organization, a lot of people call it Black Ops. A lot of people call people like maybe myself or Steven or anybody else that talks about this as like just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. But the thing is that there's a maybe I could just call it a backdoor operation from the government, but they're not really directly tied with the government. The Black Ops, they definitely hit on the government too. It's kind of like the mafia hit on the mafia. It's kind of like that. So to go on with what I've gathered from this 3-hour video, for the past 70 years, these organizations, okay, they already gained technology, for example, of anti-gravity. There's organizations able to move things, or how they're able to transport things, and very different, and things that a lot of people are not aware of. And a lot of it has a lot to do with ET technology. A lot of the sightings that people have been sharing, right? You see spacecraft. Some of them, or maybe a good portion of them, are man-made. So what it is that when people actually see an interstellar spacecraft, what Stephen was emphasizing on the video is that these shadow ops, they piggyback. Okay, they piggyback from that event to confuse people. Everything he was sharing about that, between that, abduction, all the abduction basically has been, man is behind it. And that's why I kind of brought back to when I expressed about abduction. I had to meditate about this because for what I know, and channeling with other multidimensional beings, especially through my ayahuasca, they're not about really abducting humans. I looked at it like, if that's the case, if I'm not aware of that, then there's a spiritual agreement or something between the individual and the being that they're encountering. But no, it's man. All of it has a lot to do with man. And I'm not really quite surprised, though. I'm not. And it's very close to, actually it reminds me of the X-Files. Anybody watch the newest X-File that came out last year? I think it was the last episode. They was playing around with the idea that the abduction that people was going through, that is not anything to do with ETs. It's man. So it's kind of, I was telling my friend, I find it very interesting that X-Files is not playing anymore. That was like the last episode. I think that was, well, I could say we're giving ourselves clues, okay? Because I could go with the game They, because I already did a funny video about they don't want you to know. But it's us. We're giving ourselves clues. We create these experiences and abduction, and then we put it on a famous TV show, the X-Files, and it's just telling you. So yeah, so just to move on. So from that, from how these shadow ops are able to shoot down these interstellar when they come into Earth. The whole thing with the Roswell, that was just one tip of it. But the what it is that when these shadow ops use these scalers, all of them is from underground, they shoot down these interstellars and infiltrate the ship. Whatever they could gain or gather for their own purpose, to re-engineer it. And that's why that's why you see a lot of these spacecrafts that looks very, very close to the actual legitimate interstellar craft. Now I want to express this. For me, I do know how these spacecraft are designed. I'm talking about the interstellar spacecraft. And plus, when I have my ayahuasca experience, I tap into a lot of things that the beings do know, because it's like that. That's the way it is. When you have a channel experience, it's your spirit merged with another spirit for that time being. So Dr. Stephen Greer was talking about his knowing about how these interstellar, okay, how they're designed or how they built. So I wanted to see how much he knows. So when he expressed it, I'm going to say these things in my own words now, okay? He expressed that a lot of these interstellars are designed is through I could call it electromagnetic electrons or high level energy that's able to produce matter out of thin air, and is able to design these spacecraft. The way he put it is the same thing for what I know. Now, I don't really use scientific terms, everybody. I feel like I don't have to. I try to give a breakdown. If I ever want to talk about something, I do my best to give a breakdown. I'm not going to be this brainiac to come up with big ass stupid words. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I have my own way of expressing things. So to move on, what I want to say is that the way he expressed it, I said to myself, he pretty much on point about how these interstellars are designed or created. It's not anything to do about gathering things from the ground and building it together. No. Matter can be produced out of thin air. I mean, definitely, it definitely can. I mean, just to be a little funny, it's just like how we look at credit. We talk about how much credit we have, and people joke about credit is basically created out of thin air. Just hear me out. It's kind of like that in a sense. We play games of limitations on things, but things are created out of thin air. So just to move on what I wanted to say. So yeah, that's how these interstellars are created. Now, he expressed when you do see a man-made UFO, it has a sound to it. It has a motor. You can see it. You can see it through it, actually. The way he expressed it, he also emphasized that you would know that if you do run across a interstellar, it's the real thing. So yeah, so anyway, so this is what I gathered from the video. Okay, another thing that really got to me emotionally was he expressed that it was told to him, and he's seen the technology, that there's these shadow ops, they have or design a technology of, they call it remote viewing. Remote viewing, what these shadow ops invented, okay, that they could see anybody around the world, okay, and plant an experience in that individual. So what it is that he was saying, that it was told to him that if anybody wants to have a personal experience with Jesus Christ, they can make it happen. And the people that's experiencing that will be so convinced about that experience that they will pass a lie detector test. That's how perfected they got it since the 60s, actually. Something like that. Anyway, I felt a certain way about that, and I had to get off the phone. Not the phone, but I had to stop listening to the video because I was starting to feel very angry, especially about the scalers, how they're attacking spacecraft and stuff. I had a really, I felt very angry. Now, I wanted to share this to everybody. This is the first time I'm going to share this in my videos and audio. I have another. There's another being that accompanied me in my journey on Earth, and it's a spirit. Now, my friend, she calls it, or she described it as my guide. Now, I don't really call it my guide because we're in a journey together. So it's like it's not like my guide is over me or anything like that. None of that stuff. And it's gonna be in great. I'm gonna, what everybody needs to know about my guide is gonna be detailed in my book. Okay. Now, so I'm going to just describe it throughout this journal, my guide, just to make it simple for everybody. Now, my guide was telling me that, Crystal, when it was listening about what Stephen Greer was saying about the scalers and about the remote viewing and all that, it was saying to me that, it was saying, Crystal, there's something needs to be done about this, about these shadow ops. It must be confronted. And I felt the same way too. I felt that yes, it needs to be confronted. And my guy was so invested into this feeling. It was really like, I never really saw my guide felt a certain way, and it was going through feelings that I just wasn't aware of for the moment. But it was feeling, I could just say it was very angry or bothered, disturbed about the news, especially about how people are, it's an experience, okay, people being controlled in some fashion, and about how ET craft are being shot down by scalers for the past 70 years. Not every spacecraft been shot down, but the thing is that this is what's been happening, and we so happen to align ourselves with this information. Now, this is not the first time I've heard about this. It's just that in this video, this 3-hour video, provided a little bit more detail, more so than the other videos. I think actually the first time I aligned myself with this information was another video of Dr. Stephen Greer. So, but this one was very thorough, especially about these abilities that these organizations are able to access to, and to how they're able to, the goal is to stage let's say a scripted Armageddon. Okay, it's about getting people to be so ignorant about aliens, right? That's what they call ETs, aliens, and it's about the me against them. And the whole thing about it is that people feel threatened when it comes to a certain paradigm that it's a threat to change. And Stephen, he touched on some things that I express in my earlier clips about the human behavior. And, I just want to continue to finish what I was saying, what my guide felt. It was expressing about that this needs to be confronted and or dealt with. It's important. And that's why, this is what got me, it's what inspires me to go further. I felt like this was pushing me far as, meditation wise, far as, it was in my heart, to really assist people one way or another. And I felt like, you know, I'm going to really, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather as many, you know, as many dimensional beings possible. And that's why I subtitled this, you know, Galactic Gathering. Okay. And, yeah, I just want to express that. So to move on. So, I had to take a break from the video, all right, and I went back into it, finished the whole thing, and you know, the thing is, what Dr. Stephen Greer was talking about, when people, these shadow ops, everybody, they're a reflection of a lot of people around the world. A thing that he touched on is that when people see things as a threat, it could be a gender. It could be someone that say somebody that's gay. It could be somebody that looks, or someone's described as deformed. And, you know, if you look at school, is you got kids pick on other kids because what? Because they got thick frame glasses. This is an example. They don't look like a cookie cutter individual from other kids. So this is a classic behavior with people, how they treat among themselves. So it's not really about ETs. ETs is just used, and what it is that because these shadow ops, they're just utilizing people's ignorance, and they just magnified it like 3 to 5 times. So that's why a lot of these shadow ops, they invested billions and trillions of dollars into these stage events and these false evasions and stuff like that. And yeah, I just wanted to express that. Now, also Dr. Stephen mentioned about free energy. A lot of things he was talking about, we're basically in the same alignment. I am for free energy. He understands about people getting into higher consciousness. He understands about not just world peace, but, you know, just peace beyond the universe, a galaxy beyond the universe. Okay, and you know, I like the vibe that I got from what he envisioned and why he's doing what he's doing. He's playing his part, so I'm playing my part too into this. Okay, it is very important for people around the world to connect to higher consciousness. This is part of the transition. This is part of, like I always talk about, the expansion or the event. Okay, I care 2 cents about this Armageddon bullshit that a lot of people talk about. Oh, the world's gonna end. Oh my gosh, you better change this and that. No, it's nothing like that. As people, you know, people get into higher consciousness. Okay, and then when people do get into higher consciousness, people are not going to look at something that's different, quote unquote, as a threat. Everything is internal. Okay, that's where it starts first. Now, when my guy was expressing about this, when it was feeling a certain way about the shadow ops, and I felt this way because I'm going to express this to everybody, the thought came to my mind, my duality thing starting to kick in. When I started hearing this, you know, I felt in me that I wanted to destroy these shadow ops. I wanted to destroy them. But it's the self. I can't destroy the self. You know? There's people going to be vibrating a very low part of consciousness. That's the plain truth. You know? So I said to myself, you know what? I got a better plan. And this is where I had to take my meditation to the next level. I had to go as deep as possible. Okay? There is no barriers or boundaries, excuse me. I had to take it. Now, I did mention about frequency contact in my previous parts, about contacting other galactic beings, okay? And it's not hard. It takes focus. But so to move on, what I wanted to say, I gathered, I went as far deep and deep as I go. And it's like, I mean, there's really no end. I was just taking myself into another level. That's it. So I did my best to gather as many multidimensional beings about the plan I have. Me and my guide was expressing. To make it short, when I was talking to some of these beings, it was quite a few and more. The gathering is still continuing. So to move on, what I want to say is that I was expressing about these shadow ops. They're, these beings, they are aware about this. They're aware about the scalar. They're aware about the things, the activities that goes on in this world. Now, not every single multidimensional being is aware of. And that's the thing is that some of them, they come to Earth to assist humanity, and Earth so happened to be a trap. Okay, that's just the experience and all that. And and the scalers, they're able to shoot it down. Okay. Now, some of the beings that are aware of these scalers, they're able to know how to enter Earth, in and out of Earth, without the scalers able to not do anything, or able to target, or let's say not able to target the spacecraft. Now, I was expressing my plan that it's very important for the human race to go into higher consciousness. Now, these shadow ops, they seem to be like a big barrier far as an interference. I know they can't succeed, these shadow ops. I felt that in my heart that what needs to be done, if I could just do my best to pave the way for people to awaken, because people ultimately have to do the work overall. I mentioned to these beings that for us to find all the shadow ops, all the members of the shadow op, it doesn't matter how far deep they hide underground. It doesn't matter if they could shapeshift. It doesn't matter if they're able to use anti-gravity technology as far as they're some sort of a vantage point. It doesn't matter. To find every single shadow op and place them in the void. And I expressed that. It is necessary. The void is necessary. And, I know a lot of people might look at it as a threat or something bad. Not really. The void, to me, it's like this. You're not feeling well. Okay? And what it is that what's the natural thing you're going to do when you're not feeling well? You're going to take care of yourself. So the void is basically placing these individuals in the void. You see, and what my guy was talking about also is that the human ego, it must be molded. It must be molded. It's like clay. It is. It is like clay. And when I express about the idea about that, they understand that and they're connected with that. They are connected with that. They know that the shadow ops will play its part to try to deter people from free energy, from deter people from expanding spiritually and all that. So we all are going to play our part to support the human race to go into higher consciousness. The people ultimately, obviously, is going to have to save themselves. It takes every individual to expand inside, from within. Now the void is like this. The void cannot destroy the spirit. I know a lot of people have negative feelings about the void. I know what the void is. I've been in the void. I don't know how many times, but there is no number, okay, when it comes to infinite. But I will say this, just for the record, okay? The void is It's like this. You have a certain character or something about you, right? It is basically putting yourself in a quiet place. Oh, it's like a blank page. That's what it is. A blank page. You see, not to make it complicated, the spirit, the essence of the spirit is there. Okay? All right? So if I let's me just use the shadow, the individual that's in the shadow ops. The shadow ops are very predatorial, and far as using things to create fear and all that. You place the individual in the void, and the individual comes back kind of like redeemed. The spirit is redeemed. That's what it is. It's like you mold the character into something else. The spirit is still the spirit. It's still there, but it's just molded into something else. It's change. That's what it is. Okay? That's what it is. It's change. And every shadow op, even right now, all of them, they're going to be placed in the void. All of them. And I'm excited because you know why? Because we're taking care of ourselves. Nothing can stop consciousness from expanding. As much as man implemented a technology that tried to control or tried to manipulate the human intelligence, Dr. Greer put it, the human consciousness. If you really go further, consciousness allows all these things, and whatever needs to be done far as expansion is going to expand. But keep in mind, everybody, the spirit cannot be destroyed. Okay? Everything is redeemable, even though it may not seem like it, but it is. So the void is basically you're redeeming yourself again. That's what it is. And every shadow op will be found. They will be found. And they can't hide. They can't. I'm going to play my part to help humanity. And that's why me and my guy, we have in our heart to gather a lot of multidimensional beings to play their part to help, to assist humanity. It is very, very important. And then also I want to express another plan I had is to, for these multidimensional beings to reach out to these shadow ops in their dream state. You wanted to nudge the ego. What keeps people that's psychotic, right? That's what we call people that's all about try to control people and try to lie and try to stage events and stuff like that. Try to, that's more in alignment with chaos, for example. It's fear. Let's just break it down. So the dream state, the purpose of the dream state of getting to these shadow ops in their dream state, because they're going to have to sleep. Everybody does sleep. The purpose of that is to nudge the ego, the spirit. Then the individual in the shadow op, whether if they're not placed in a void, but in their dream state, they will be impacted. And the spirit within the individual is going to awaken. All you just do is poke. Just poke at it. That's it. And watch. It's kind of like, I was telling my friend yesterday, it's kind of like a kernel, a popcorn kernel. A kernel that's, this is just an analogy. A kernel that's just, it didn't pop, but then you put it in a microwave again. Be patient with it, and it pop. That's it. You want to call it a late bloomer, however you want to call it. But these shadow ops will be done away with. I know it's easy for the human mind to go out there and blast these people. It's very easy to think that way. But again, I got a different plan. And that's why I have this gathering. I don't know who runs across my clip, but I will say this. If anybody is a member of that stuff and you're trying to, use your intelligence, for example, and you try to control people and try to do a scripted Armageddon, you will not succeed. I guarantee it. I don't care how many years you've been trying to enslave people with fear and trying to implant experiences. Understand this. Understand that our higher selves allow all these things. When it comes to expansion, there's absolutely nobody in this entire world could stop it. And I will go further. It's not just any man and woman could stop it. Time or light can't stop it. Not even a black hole. You cannot stop the nature of life of expanding. And I will play my part to assist. That's it. That's all. Far as free energy, I do see people experiencing free energy. This intimidation of trying to intimidate people that tries to bring it out there or assassinate people, all these things, it's not going to succeed. I do see it spiritually that people are experiencing free energy. The technology that man seems to keep it as a secret, these highly advanced technology will be shared for everybody in a peaceful setting, not in a warmongering state. And man will, and I see, this is what I see now, and I'm sorry if I ever confuse anybody about the now or I'm talking about future tense. I like to talk about future tense because a lot of people seem to vibe with that, but I know everything does happen now. So excuse me if I ever sound like I'm confusing someone. I'm not. So I will just say things like this. I do see things spiritually that people are traveling in the cosmos with other multidimensional beings. And that's what they're waiting for. And for people to wake up. You know, my conversation with these beings was very encouraging. They understand what I'm doing, my fellow galactic friends, and a lot of them was just feeling like, Crystal, this is where you come in. You see, for you to show people the simplicity of life, the thing that a lot of people overlook is the imagination. The imagination is the key to all of this. And this is what I've been saying myself, my previous parts to everybody about imagination. We overlook the simplicity of change because we selectively make things difficult. It doesn't have to be a battle, an uphill battle. We choose that, but it doesn't have to. And that's why I come up with a solution. If we have something that tries to suggest some interference with the transition of humans to evolve, then it'll be taken care of. We're going to take care of ourselves one way or another. We will. What it is to be in a higher consciousness is basically every one of you are freeing yourself. That's what it's about. You're freeing yourself. You have a full understanding that there is no boundaries to life. And you will know it will be in you. And you will never let go of that. Because it's you. And that, I could just describe it in the most simplest way about what is higher consciousness. That's why it's important. That's why it's important that for the transition, for the human race to evolve. And I do see that spiritually. Nothing's going to stop it. Nothing. Stephen Greer is playing his part. I'm playing my part. Each and every one of you out there that's listening, you're playing your part in all this. In regards to what role you play in this life. We all play our part, regardless what dimension you're from. I want to close out real soon. What these beings was telling me that, Crystal, because it felt that I was upset about the beings that got shot down, with the scalers, and it was saying that, we don't concern ourselves about this feeling of death like a lot of humans do. And I do understand that, because I have an understanding about life beyond the physical body when you do pass on. It was just a loose conversation I was having with them. They was expressing about, we have some feelings, some similarity in some levels, but overall we don't really, it's just not the same. All those beings that's been shot down and moved on, they're in a different form. I said yes. I felt like I was reliving their experience with them when they was in a spacecraft, and so was my guide. I felt so angry. I felt like I was with them. What happened? And they wanted to help people. And I know everything happens for a reason. I know there's no mistakes. So they're in a different form. They will always live. I was just going through my own feelings for the moment of holding on for what they was and that experience before they moved on. And I felt I wanted to hold them and thank them for coming to Earth to assist humans. It's just appreciation, just to show appreciation. And they do hear me. These beings, everything reverts back to source, everything. Before I close out, now about the free energy, now anybody listening to this, okay, if anyone out there that has the let's just say the access or the expertise as far as the technology of free energy, forward it to, reach out to Dr. Stephen Greer. It's not about patent. You can't patent energy, okay? This is silly that man actually implemented. But it's an experience. Free energy is for everybody. So by you keeping it to yourself, it's just this, again, what is really about this whole thing is about everyone. This is for everyone, okay? Sometimes it's good to be selfish, sometimes it's not. I feel like selfish could be a very limited thing if you just having a fear behind it. But if you're taking care of yourself first, meaning, you want to take care of yourself and you feel like you're sacrificing yourself, then it's a different story. But if you have fear involved in it and you don't want to share another because you're afraid, that's another story. So I want to inspire everybody that if you have the expertise, you align yourself with this free energy, share it, forward it to, or contact Dr. Stephen Greer. I like his vibe. We have the same vision, okay, about the world and beyond. I do see in spirit that people do awaken from within. This is what I see spiritually. So anyway, I'm going to have an ongoing gathering, okay? I have so much to say. I didn't really fully share so far what the conversation was like, but I'll just make this very, very brief before I close out. A lot of these beings was telling me about that it connected to the feelings or the desires that I have, that I wanted to go out west further to meet up with other beings, and because they know that I always have an interest in spacecraft, even from a different dimension. And it was telling me that, Crystal, you know what you need to do to align yourself with that. I said, yeah, I know. And it's saying just be patient. And I understand that about being patient. Far as dealing with these shadow ops and just dealing with just people not look at something that's different as a threat and right away want to go to war. Being patient, yeah. I don't like to be anxious for nothing, for anything. So I know the situation with the Black Ops, they will be sent to the void, or they will be approaching their dream state. Not anything to be harmed. No, of course not. You know, we just got to nudge the spirit within people. You know? I just want to make it clear, there's really nothing that can stop consciousness from expanding. The ego, your mind could try to look for proof and say, yeah, really? Oh, yeah? And then you're going to try to come up with some highly advanced technology. You know what? That's not going to succeed. So, you know, might as well stop trying. It's about embracing life. It's about embracing the truth. It's about giving yourselves, okay, to good, to everything that's good and joyful and blissful about life. And that's what it is. You know, it's like, and I'm excited. I had to turn my emotions around, and I had a great meditation experience. I had. Even my friend, she told me on the phone that you sounded very calm, Crystal. I said, yeah, I did. I felt very good. I felt very good with this meditation. You know, I love it when I keep going so deep and deep within infinity and just talking, communicating with other multidimensional being, and everything is from source. I felt great about it. I felt great, and the alignment and the understanding when I expressed my heart to just ideas as far as assisting people of awakening. I felt good about it. And my mood, my feelings just turned around. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. So this was a great gathering. Again, the gathering will continue on. I might do another journal about it. I might, but as far as my guide, yeah, my guide is definitely it's gonna be definitely expressed more on my book and my movie. So I don't want to go too detailed about my guide. So anyway, I'm so glad I did this part. I believe I cover everything. Check that 3-hour video out. It's worth it. It is. I know he talks about time is running out. And you know what? I know a lot of people say that, but you have to understand who we are. We're going to encourage each other to take care of ourselves. You know, I mean, whether me do this audio and express the plans or idea that I came up with about the void and all that, you know, again, it's not about me expressing this. Okay, I'm just playing my part. So whether if I say something or not, you know, consciousness is going to expand. I'm just going about my life experience on Earth to express things. That's it. It's in my heart, and I'm going to speak about it, regardless how silly it sounds. I don't care. I love the truth. I don't care about opinions. I care less about opinions. I love truth. That's what I'm vibing with. The truth is that we're all consciousness, and I see us all get into higher consciousness. That is the truth. So I think I cover everything right now. Okay, everybody. Until then, I will be back for part 83. Take care.